Test.
It's hot. It's hot. Thanks everybody for being here. This is a new chapter of Rigby Volleyball, and sometimes the stars align, and we're really excited to have Coach Aaron Adams with us here at Rigby High School. And so it comes with a wealth of knowledge. A lot of you know him already. He's coached in our area, has college experience, and there's so many things that we're just so thankful to have Coach Adams with us. And as we start this new chapter, we wanted you guys to get to know him and what the plans are for summer and the future, and we're excited to have him. So just give a warm Rigby welcome to Coach Adams.
Excited to be here, excited to be part of this program. A lot of familiar faces. And it's funny, Tiff, the outgoing coach, and I have been pretty good friends because she was an Idaho Falls graduate, and when I came into IF 3 years ago, she's like, I'm a graduate and my niece is in your program. And so it was interesting having her daughter Eden playing over at Idaho Falls while she was here, and she was a very good friend. And when she told me that she had to step away from the program this past year for work, some opportunities that she had, I said, well, now that program is insane. It's to my knowledge the only high school in the state that has 2 middle schools feeding in. I said between the Rigby Club, the junior highs, the high school, there's got to be like 80 to 90 athletes that are in this volleyball pipeline. And coming from Idaho Falls, where it was 1 middle school, and last year we didn't even have any coaches apply for the 7th grade position, and here we've had 3 former college players who've reached out just in the past couple weeks that want to be part of the coaching program. So, as a coach, when you have athletes and when you have coaches and you have parents that are here and that want to be involved, it's really exciting. Now, those of you that are on the live stream, and maybe you're watching the live stream recording, you'll notice that I put my personal email on there and my cell phone is on there. And I posted on Facebook today the link to this, so if you want to go back and watch that recording, we'll have that available to cover anything. Goal tonight was just to kind of let you know where we are with things, and I'm happy to answer questions. One thing that you'll find is I've seen coaches in other high school programs that require that the athletes talk to the coach. So if there's a playing time issue, they'll say the athlete needs to talk to me. I'm not that guy. Because having coached in college where that collegiate athlete is basically your employee in the form of, well, now with NIL more than ever, they're your employee. I understand how much you parents are involved with this athlete. And so in my universe, the parents have a seat at the athletic table. Now you may be a parent that says, I let my kid interface with you if they're not happy with their role in the program, they need to talk to you. I'm happy to interface with them, but I'm also happy to talk to you at any time. I've seen coaches that have closed practices, mine are open. And so if you would like to come sit in our practice, I'd love to have you in practice. If you'd like to learn more about volleyball so we can have a conversation about your athlete's progress, I'd love to have that conversation. Write down gold medal squared. Write down gold medal squared, gms.com. That is, from a volleyball standpoint, gold medal squared is the volleyball philosophy that I adhere to. There's kind of 2 main coaching philosophies for volleyball in the world. There's gold medal squared, and then there's the Japanese. And the Japanese have these crazy drills and crazy instructions, and the way they teach passing and setting, it's like they have this whole volleyball nobody else does, but they have an amazing product, and so it's interesting. But the Team USA women, the Team USA men are gold medal squared. 99% of collegiate programs are gold medal squared. And what gold medal squared is a volleyball training system that actually started in the mid-90s in Utah. Carl McGowan was the coach at BYU, and and he had a friend who was a PhD physicist, and they were talking about passing. Now there's kind of two schools of thought about passing with volleyball. There's inline passing, and then there's sticking your arms out, nonlinear. And this physicist said to Carl, so what's better? Should the athlete move their feet and always pass the ball on their midline? Or does it make more sense to stick their arm out to the side because it's faster? And Carl said, I don't know, we should chart that. We should study that empirically. And they actually found that midline passing is fine for little kids, but at the highest levels of volleyball, the best passers in the world stick their arms out to the side. And they learn to do that. And so that's something that's been studied. So they literally went through volleyball, hitting, blocking positions, and came up with a whole theory about how volleyball should be taught. And so as a parent, you can for $7 a month have a gold medal squared account. They literally have a 40 lesson learn to coach volleyball program in 3-minute lessons. You can watch it while you're on the treadmill at the gym. That's what I had a parent told me they did last year. But what it does is it raises your volleyball IQ. I've had conversations with parents in the past where they say, help me understand why my child isn't setting. Help me understand why my child isn't starting. Help me understand why she's better than my child. And I always try to rate athletes on a 3-point scale. There's the skill that they have in the sport, and we can have that conversation. There's the athleticism that they were born with, and we can have that conversation. And then there's their fitness and conditioning level. How strong are they? How quick are they? But if you don't have a volleyball background, it's hard for me to have a volleyball conversation with you. And so my perfect world as a coach would be to have volleyball savvy parents who come to practice every day and we can have a collaborative discussion. I'm that chill about the sport. Does that make sense? I would love for you to be more educated. I'd love to have that intelligent conversation because I'm very nerdy about volleyball. So my background is, this is my 25th year. The first year that I coached volleyball was 2000. I was a high school teacher in Southern California, 99, 2000. Parents, raise your hand if you were in high school then. Okay, so I literally could have been your coach. And as a 25-year-old coach back then, it was, I had a mom come to parent night and she said, you look younger than me. And I said, how old are you? She said, I'm 26. And I'm like, I am younger than you. I'm your daughter's volleyball coach. And it's funny because I started coaching millennials. And now I have these Gen Z, Gen Alphas. And parents, raise your hand if these kids are very different than we were. Like, it's like, I'm a Gen Xer. I'll be 52 this summer. And I'm amazed at, just the cultural differences. But having been at Idaho Falls the past 3 years, having coached club for the past 3 years, I really have had a lot of fun with these kids with this age. So I took over a high school program in SoCal in 2000 that had lost, and we went to the semifinals of state that year. The next year we lost in the state finals. From there, I went to UC Riverside. I coached Division I volleyball for 2 years. I was the second assistant at UC Riverside, so I ran the offense. I'm a 6'4" lefty opposite, so I ran centers. I ran the offense. I was there for 2 years. I left there and I moved to Utah. I took over the Pleasant Grove. There's plenty of seats here if you guys are interested. I took over the Pleasant Grove program in Utah. We won state that year. That was 2003. 2004, I took over Lone Peak. We won state that year. 2008, I went to Indiana University, Indianapolis. I was the assistant there at that Division I program for 2 years. Ran the setters, ran the offense. And then I stepped away from volleyball. So I was 12 years away from the sport. I have a real estate development company and 400 employees, and I felt like I couldn't coach because it was not worth my time. That last year that I coached at Indiana University, I made $30,000 as a volleyball coach and 20 times that in real estate, and said, this is crazy, I gotta stop wasting my time coaching even though I really loved it. So I stepped away from the game in 2010. My wife's here, everybody say hi to Megan. And that's not our baby. That is not our baby. And she's never seen that baby before today.
Yeah,
So,
right.
That's not true.
So, we're a blended family. I have 2 boys. She has 4. And so we have 3 boys and 3 girls. We've been married for 9 years. She's from here. And when we got married and I moved here, her family are Miskins from Yukon. That's her family. My mother-in-law went to Bonneville. My father-in-law is retired on their family land in Teutonia. And I couldn't figure out why people were looking at me when I first moved here, and they would say, well, what's your last name? And I'd say Adams, because they were trying to figure out what my last name was and where I was from. And so now that I understand that,
You need to claim Miskin.
I need to claim Miskin.
Just change your last name.
Okay. And so we've had the Ginger Brady bunch at our house, 3 boys and 3 girls for 9 years, and we've been getting rid of them. And so my oldest son, Casey, we both had full custody of our kids when we got married. So I had full custody of my 2 boys since they were in 4th and 6th grade. She's had full custody of her 4 kids. My son, Casey, is finishing up his senior year out at the University of Indianapolis. My son, Tommy, busts his tables at Garcia's. He graduated from IF, so if you go by Garcia's, say hi to my son. He's figuring things out. So raise your hand if you have those kids. And then Meg's oldest daughter, Maddie, is on a mission down in Phoenix, and I don't think it's fair that they get to call home every week, but Gen Z, Gen Alpha, we already talked about that. And then her daughter, Lily, is just graduating from IF. Lily got a scholarship as a setter down at Ottawa University in Phoenix. And we're really excited about that for her. She set at Idaho Falls the last 3 years, and they gave her $18,000 a year for tuition, and so all we have to pay for is housing, so we're really excited for her. And she's the one who brought me out of retirement. Her freshman year, 4 years ago, she came to me and said, I want to play volleyball. And I said, nope, that was 10 years ago. I do real estate now, and I'm done with that part of my life. And she's like, but I know you won 2 state championships, and I know you were in Division I. I was like, no thanks. I put that behind me. But she started to cry. And when a ginger cries, they literally take control of your soul, right? You have to obey because I've been married to her. Right?
That's right.
That's right.
There's special power.
Special power. And so I said yes, and so I went to Caitlin Johnson, who was the IF coach, and Caitlin said, I'm actually thinking about leaving IF. We went 0-10 this year. She's like, I'm moving out of the state. And she's like, you should take over IF. And I thought, my kids are getting older. I kind of have more time. And I said, what the heck? And I said yes. And so IF had gone 0-10 those last 2 years. We went 7-3, 8-2, 9-1. Made state for the first time this last year in 14 years and finished 3rd in state. So we had a good run. All 5 of those seniors that I have got scholarship offers. All 5 of them are going on to play this next year. And it was cool to be part of turning that program around. What I love about Rigby is it doesn't need to be turned around. What I love, we played you guys, I have played you guys the last couple of years. We got lucky. You guys got revenge last summer at the Beck Peterson and kicked our butts. I don't even think why are you laughing? You guys got revenge, right?
Yeah.
I snuck you guys at home twice. It was like sneaky, right? But what was cool was, see, as I said, I owned it. You guys killed us. So last summer, because Tiff and I are friends, I said we should do open gyms together. We built a gym down at our house. We're down by Sandy Downs, and we're on 6 acres. And I got so sick of not being able to find a gym for IF. I said, forget it. We built a barn. I have 2 courts over there, and we've been running Idaho Peak Club out of it. So I said to Tiff last summer, let's go open gyms together. I know you guys are stacked. You got all these juniors. They're amazing. Let's scrimmage, because I knew we had a good team at IF. And so last summer I got to watch these kids and get to know them, and they were amazing. And I sat and watched them play at state, and they were amazing. And I remember thinking, man, if I could get my hands on this facility and all these kids in this program, we could create a volleyball dynasty at Rigby. You have the facilities, You have the families in this community that will support teams. You have the talent pipeline. You have 2 middle schools. It's like a community college. It's this insane program. Meanwhile, IF can't even get a gym built. There's no air conditioning. The floor breaks. You can't. I mean, it's a nightmare. I'm like, you know. And then I hear Rollins is building another field house. So when Tiff called me and said, "Hey, I have to step away from Rigby," I said, "I can't wait. Like, this is an insane program. I would love to coach it." And full disclosure, you know, the last place that I had coached college, IUPUI, their coach had a medical issue this year, this Division I program in Indianapolis. And they called me and said, "Would you come step in and take over the program for us?" And I said to my wife, "Let's do that. Let's say yes again, and let's move to Indianapolis." And Meg, what did you think about that? Moving to Indianapolis and taking over IUPUI volleyball?
Nope.
That was a hard no. You got a hard no.
Hard pass.
Yeah, I got hard pass. And so we still have 2 of her kids at home, and we're here. And now I've built a gym in my backyard, and apparently that money was supposed to go towards
My cabin.
her cabin in Teutonia, but I got like requisitioned over to
YMCA in my backyard.
YMCA in the backyard. So, but we won't be practicing out there. The goal is, this is an amazing facility. I will be commuting here. But I can't tell you how excited I am to be here. Guys, I have already bought a serving machine that we're gonna put, that'll be here in a couple weeks. Because poor coaches get their arms burned out over serving, and we need a lot of reps. That was the whole teaching, that was the coaching salary for the program. And so parents, if you're ever mad at me, you can never use the line, "Will you work for me?" Because I already donated more of the money back to Rigby Volleyball than, so I'm free. That is not my motivation. I'm free. And if I try to put a value of my time from work and put it to volleyball, that's not worth it either. I don't know anybody from Rigby. I don't have a kid in the program. I'm literally only here because of this talent pool, the administration, 2 middle schools, and this idea of building a dynasty, right? There is a formula for winning high school volleyball. I figured it out 20 years ago. It doesn't matter if I'm in California or Utah or at IF with nothing, it works. And write this down. There's a book that I love. It's called What Drives Winning? What Drives Winning by Ledbetter. They have a bunch of YouTube videos as well. If you want to know what my core coaching philosophy, it's based on that book, What Drives Winning by Ledbetter. It started with a TED Talk that he did maybe 10 years ago. The idea behind it from a philosophical standpoint is that we focus on process over outcome. So one thing we will never talk about on my sideline or in my practices is winning state. We don't talk about outcome. We're never going to talk about districts. We're not going to talk about Madison. Well, we will after we meet them. Every time. And can I tell you they're scared because they've graduated some talent. They know that all of our talent is here stacked, and those coaches have both told me that they are quaking in their boots, and I love that for them. Because Bonneville was hating IF, and then we figured out the Bonneville rules, because you have a coach that's an excellent coach, she's been there forever, but she does the same thing. And so once I figured out the rules, then I think we were 12 sets to 1 this last year when we did those rules. So I'm a very, very, very nerdy coach, and I've been doing gold medal sport for 25 years. And so one thing that is different between Tiff and I, Tiff is a heart leader, treats kids like family. I run basically a college program, okay? We do college drills, we run a college offense. The way that we will do blocking is what the USA Women use. The setters have already worked with me last week, and it was so exciting to work with them. And I heard from a couple of mom and dads, they're like, "Dude," I'm like, no, we're doing your footwork today. Like, we will do that with blocking. I can't wait to get in with the hitters. So I'm very, very nerdy about volleyball. The way that we do serving, the way that we do passing will be very, very different. And so one of the reasons why we're going to do open gyms, we're going to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday open gyms. I believe it's on the calendar. Did we look at that? Is it 4 to 6, Liz? 4 to 6, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. is it's going to give us a chance to just help you guys work on those skills. And what's good is I don't know most of you. That's a benefit because I'm seeing everything with fresh eyes. If you know there's some athletes that were basketball or softball, I do not care. If you're good enough to start and you show up the day before tryouts and you say, hey, I've been doing softball and basketball, but I can help this team win, welcome to the program. And so one of my things with open gyms this summer is family comes first, vacations come first, your jobs come first, church obligations come first. You do not have to text me and say, I have work, I'm sorry, worried that somehow I'm like giving you a demerit on the chore chart, okay? If you say, hey, I have family vacation, I'm gonna miss open gyms next week, good, go be with your family. If you say, like, I was talking to one mom, yeah, we're not, even if there was a tournament before homecoming, you're going to homecoming if you want to go to homecoming. I don't care about that. If you want to play Powerpuff football, I don't care about that because we let you drive. You drive a car. That's way more high risk about like things I don't care about. So this is the fifth program takeover that I've had. I don't want to take anything away. Okay. My goal is not to change that which you love. If the seniors gave their parents roses before every home game, we will do roses this year. I've already told any coach at the middle schools if they want to come back, we'd love to have them back. I am not the only ego I have is take everything good you've been doing and bring my really nerdy volleyball and teach you how to win. That's it. That's all I want to do. There's no ego. I already have 400 employees in the real world. So there's no power trip for me. It's just to come in and help success. Now, why am I here? Because my angle is like, what's your deal? Why is this guy? Why are you here? If it's not for the money, if it's not for the power, what's your angle? So it's interesting because I've been doing. I left the high school to do real estate development 22 years ago, and we have a $100 million company. And I was meeting with a client a couple of years ago. And he was introducing me to another client, and the other client said, this is Aaron, I've had $3 million invested with him and I've made a lot of money. Working with Aaron was the best decision I ever made. And I thought, that's kind of interesting since I've made all this money for you and you're taking credit for our business. And a couple of days later, I had one of my 99 2000 high school students hit me up and say, hey coach, on Facebook Messenger, hey coach, remember that one drill we used to do my senior year in 2000, 17 years ago? Well, I just did it with my daughter's team. And I just wanted you to know that I'm still teaching the same things that you taught me when you had me as a high school coach. And I thought, that's a legacy, right? And I realized, I had this epiphany that money's cool if it's going towards something that's making a difference. And what's funny is the 3 years that I've spent coaching again, running the Idaho Peak Volleyball Club, coming back and coaching the Idaho Falls High School program, I said to my wife, I should have stepped away because work is just work, and we all know that work is whatever. But there is no buzz that can replace coaching and helping kids move forward. How many of my adults have that coach that they remember from high school, or that leader that burned a memory onto their soul, right? Who has that, right? And so what I have found, and the reason that I'm here so that you understand, is there's just such a buzz to helping high school kids and develop individually and win collectively. And having won 2 state championships, when you get to that 30th point, or that 25th point, or that 15th point, and everyone stops and everybody rushes the court, I can't imagine that there's any other greater buzz. There's very few like that in life. And I know that it's something that's so cool that you remember your whole life. That's why I'm here. That's why I want to be here. And you know, in club at the Idaho Peak Club this year, every one of our 8 teams got scholarships. And so being part, I just had a phone call today, a lot of you know Leah Thomas. I had a phone call with the head coach of Wyoming. And I think they're going to offer her a full-ride scholarship before her junior year. And Lee is a great kid, and I coached her for 3 years of high school, and I coached her for 3 years of club. And to be on that call with that coach, and they got her on her final list to offer her a scholarship. How many of you want to play at the next level? Who loves the idea of playing? Who would be interested in playing volleyball at the next level? And so, whether we're helping individual kids get to that next step of playing at that level, whether we're helping teams win, it's incredibly rewarding for me. And that's why I'm here. And so, it's important to me that you understand that that's my motivation. And who are my parents that have coached in any capacity? Who has coached? Right? You know that buzz is just so addictive. To when you see that light bulb go on their face, and they move forward and they get better. You also know that some of your biggest aggravations have come from coaching, true or false, where you're like, I want to kill this team. I want to drive the bus off the road into the water. But that makes the success that much more rewarding. And now, a couple other things. Talk to the trainer, and he's going to have, I think, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday weight training here. So the goal is that you have 3 weight training sessions a week you can come to. Who currently works with a personal trainer, has some kind of personal training thing set up? Great, keep doing that. We're not trying to change that. The goal is that in June and July, that you have as many chances to get worked out in volleyball and to get physically trained as possible. That's the goal, okay? And if you're here, then we'll coach you and help you get better. But you don't get in trouble if you're not here. You don't get in trouble if you have a job. You don't get in trouble if you have vacation. I'm not that coach. Just like if you're 5 minutes late, I'm not that coach. I don't care, because I care way more about how you practice when you get to my practice. And so that hopefully is something that is a little bit different that you've had. But I try to, I love that Tiff has always run a program that's authentic to how she is as a leader, and I'm just a very relaxed guy, but I'm really intense about what you do when you get to practice, and how you practice and how you work. We don't run laps. I will never make you throw up. I want you to learn volleyball, and I never can get through everything you want to learn, so I don't do that either. We don't have Hell Week. I don't like that. I'd rather you just practice. So again, I'm not saying that any of those things were wrong that were done. I just don't do them. My only goal is for you guys to get a vibe from me. Okay? I want to introduce Bailey. We're going to say hi to Bailey. So just for context, Bailey coached with me in Idaho Falls the last 3 years. She could have taken the Hillcrest job 2 years ago, the head coach job. Said no. She could have taken the Skyline or IF jobs potentially this year. She wanted to be here with me at Rigby. And just to give you an example, we realized at IF that I micromanage almost every minute of practice because there's so much technical stuff I want to teach you. And then we noticed that in the games, when I was standing on the sideline, I get really intense. And even though I never yell, you can tell when your coach is pissed, right? And so I said to Bailey, you're more positive than me, and so you're going to stand, and I'm going to go sit down. Because then if I'm mad, they can't feel it radiating off of me from the sideline. And so I literally at IF this last year sat down, and I had her stand, because she's very positive. So if you just had a rough rotation, you step out, she's like, good job, girl, where I'm like, no, go sit down. I can't. Done. Right? And so I would still think that, but then I was sitting down on the bench. And I had a coach say, hey, did Aaron get suspended? Why isn't he standing?
Yeah.
Right? People said that, yeah, I did.
He blasted me too.
Yeah, there's a big rumor that I had been suspended and I wasn't allowed to stand at the games. Right? And you know what was crazy? It worked amazing. Because when I was sitting down there, all of my feelings, all of a sudden I started noticing big picture things about the game. Because when you're standing, you're sucked into the game. It's like point, and then you're screaming at call. Last year I had no yellow cards that I have. That was the first time that ever happened. because I wear glasses, I couldn't see the sideline to begin with, right? And so I have a friend, his name's Ryan, and he's the head coach at Baylor University, and he was the NCAA Coach of the Year. He and I coached club together in 2001 in Southern Cal. And I was watching Baylor play, and I noticed he was sitting down, so I texted him. I said, "Why are you sitting down?" And he's like, "Oh, because I'm too much." He's like, "They started tuning me out." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I found the same thing too." And so the other reason that I'm here is that coaching is hard. I don't know if you're any golfers. Golf is a sport that you never conquer. You just, suck less at. and coaching is that same way. So there's a very personal reward of learning to say, okay, these kids, this season, this lineup, this schedule, how do we have success? It's very difficult. And when you do it, it's very rewarding. And I'll tell you what, to be at IF this year, they hadn't even made districts. Bonneville had beat them 12 years in a row. And to sweep Bonneville every time we played them, both regular seasons and district, was really big for my girls. I think I'm worried of seeing that coach in a dark alley somewhere, if she has any sharp objects. But it was really cool to do that for those kids, to have them finally make districts. I had never been to districts in 12 years, and that was a cool thing. So that's why I'm here. I'm here for this talent, for these seniors, for the up-and-coming talent, it's not something that I've ever had this much. This feels like a college program. 2004, when I was at Lone Peak, we didn't lose a set on the way to winning the state championship. And this program has the same kind of talent. And so I will set a very high bar. We should win state this year. And I know how to do it, and I know what we need to do from a volleyball standpoint. And so that's why I want you parents and you athletes to know kind of what the vision is. And there's no other agenda other than individual and collective success. And when a whole group of people can get on that same page, it's just amazing, and it's a really cool thing. And so I wanted to share that with you personally tonight. If you are on band, we will use the band app a lot. I would love, we'll have like some chats, like we can set a chat for setters. So band, gold medal squared, what drives winning. Those are the main like kind of resources that if you want to go back and read and watch videos, you can get on the same page, because what you'll notice is that's what we teach from, and that's how we run everything. Questions for me? Does anybody have questions? Brent?
Are we doing
Yes, we are doing a team camp. I have it signed up at UVU, and we have 2 teams, and so pretty much all of our returning kids will take to team camp. I'm working on getting 2 Airbnbs so that the kids can stay together. I will definitely not be there, but I'm sure we'll have some moms or female coaches there. But so we can do team bonding, team dinners, and then I have a brother who he's got a pretty nice house. I have a brother who's got a $50 million house in Alpine. And I said, we need to do some Rigby team bonding pool parties, barbecues at your house. And he's like, yeah, just tell me when. So team camp's gonna be really fun. We also have, what was the other thing that we did? Team camp, and then we scheduled, we have the Pike Peterson. And yeah, so, but we had, Pocatello was having a summer tournament, but I didn't want to go to that because I want to really make sure that we have plenty of time. I would love to get like our offense and offensive plays really like layered in June, July. And so I opted out of that Pocatello summer tournament for that reason. Yeah. Other questions? And I don't think homecoming is the same as our tournaments, right? Did we chat? You're confirming that, okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so we don't have a conflict with it. Yeah, because that's sad. Yeah, you can do both. Yeah, so that's sad. Yeah, so Rigby Athletics has the calendar schedules up on there. Rigby Athletics, as well as the summer schedule. And then we'll also keep another calendar on band. I'll have a Google calendar that'll be on band also. Parents, please encourage your kids to message us through band. That's what districts are encouraging because there's a texting component. Or if you need to text a coach, just kids make sure you include mom or dad on the text. So if you text the coach directly, either always text two coaches or copy your mom or your dad on the text to make it above board. I'm very big on that. And sometimes if you forget to text me, then I'll reply and CC your parents or another coach. Yeah.
Plan for freshmen, because obviously they're not on. They haven't been on the team.
Yeah. So.
Camp, camp-wise or anything.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do 3 camps. Oh, good, fundraising camps and freshmen. Okay, so we're gonna do 3-day camps. I'm gonna work with the seniors. So from a fundraising standpoint, we have 2 options. I'm gonna have the seniors help me run the 3-day camps, but then that will count as your fundraising.
Bless you.
So you will each get paid $300 to help me run the camps. Okay? And no car washes, no bake sales, no go beg your uncle for money. We have a really cool setup with Mountain America that we put together for club that you can go work concessions and get paid the money. Our kids are making 15 to 20 bucks an hour because you get the tips. We have that set up so that we have one of our club kids fundraise $3,000 this year. They covered all the club fees, all the travel and equipment fees for the year. We have that set up with my nonprofit. I have a 501c3 that we have Peak and Rigby Club under. And so 100% of your money will go to the nonprofit, and then 100% will get donated to the school account, and that will count for your fundraising. We have that set up right now. We have events that you can start going to fundraise. And so raise your hand if that's something that sounds interesting and resonating. Cool. And we can have whole teams go do concessions together. You can do the potato bar. Parents, if you will get your safe serve or whatever, serve safe. We had some parents, now obviously the kids don't serve alcohol, can't serve alcohol, can't touch it or handle it, but if parents are cool to that, we had parents who doubled the fundraising by being in that booth doing that with the kids. So they have staff that'll do it if you don't want to mess with that, but those parents that were serve safe were making $25 an hour fundraising. So we're going to just set a goal that every athlete is responsible for $300, whether you fundraise it, whether you go get it from your rich uncle, or whether you just pay it yourself. Does that make sense? So it would be $300 each. And now, if you are a parent and you know that you want your child to fundraise, raise your hand. Okay, cool. You guys are all on my fundraising committee. I will be using you to help organize the schedule. Now, Bailey is going to run that because she ran after the club. And so we have it all systemized and worked out. We need the schedule so you can start doing that this summer and have that out of the way. But we have found, we love that the kids get to go actually work for the money, and then that will carry over into club as well. I love the folks that are set up to run Rigby Club. We're going to keep Rigby Club in place. And those of you that know me, I don't care if you do Crush or Bonneville or Madison or Peak. We don't make kids go to a certain club. I think that's stupid. My big thing is finding a fit for you that helps you get better. Because my rule of thumb is high school is about winning and success. Club is about getting better and being selfish and going to college. That's my vision for club and in school. Does that make sense? And so I don't care how good your club team is if you don't feel like you're getting better for all this money and time that you're investing. That's not serving you, and it's not serving. So that's our kind of philosophy about club. Other questions about anything? What's that? So I think Justin, is that the trainer here? Is it noon? Because I hadn't heard the final schedule. Did he say noon? I think he was saying
It's on the Instagram.
So it's noon. Wasn't it Monday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can check. Yeah, just let me know.
Unless you're in a dual sport, then there's different times.
And then are we in the calendar 4 to 6 or 5 to 7? There's a few changes.
Just look every week.
Yeah, I remember there was several gym conflicts. Other thing I want to do is I want to do a couple of smaller group get-togethers at our place. You can come by, see the gym, and I can get to know you guys better. I'm very, very open. I don't care if you call me. I've had parents call me and say, I'm just frustrated, my kid is not happy, I want to talk to you. Cool, let's have that conversation. I'm not that coach that hides from that. I'm not that leader that has a problem with that. And I really do have an open access policy. I want you to feel comfortable. Now, that's a two-way street. So you gotta make sure because I will be brutally honest with you. And I had a parent last year that came to me and said, my daughter's an outside hitter, and she's gonna be a junior, and that sophomore, you should take that sophomore and put that sophomore on the right side. And I said, no, I agree, it's not definitive. We're gonna stat it, and we're gonna let them kind of alternate here in the summer. And then they were still very frustrated. And then I said, let's move the junior to the middle. And my daughter's not a middle. I don't want that. Okay, I understand you don't want that, but you don't have any volleyball experience, so I really don't care about your volleyball 2 cents. And so that sophomore was first team All-State. That junior was a good middle on a team that finished third, but it really wasn't about the junior. You don't get rewarded for your age. You don't get punished for your youth. I care way too much about winning and success. You could be my favorite kid in the program, and if you don't deserve to be on the court, you'd be my favorite kid right on the bench next to me. I love you to death. I do not care. If I would have had a better setter at IF to win state, I would have my stepdaughter right next to me on the bench.
Hey now, I'm just kidding. Kidding.
So one thing I will always say to you as parents, please, I have no politics, man. Don't underestimate my desire to win. I'll happily explain my rationale, but politics, I could care less. I don't care what the family's last name is. I don't care what the money is. I don't care how nice the kid is. I don't care if they showed up at every open gym in the summer. Don't care. It's who are the best 6, who helps us have success. Does that make sense? And that's one thing I never, ever said. That's part of the formula to winning high school. The minute politics come into play, the minute rewarding, because she's a junior, because she's a senior. I care way too much about finding success on the court. It undermines the whole program if people feel politics, if people feel favorites. And I'll be the first one to tell your athlete, like, I got no problem, like, okay, look, here's why. She jumps higher than you, her arm speed's faster, you can't hit line. Like, it's always only volleyball. Does that make sense? And so you have that comfort with this program. And I will scrutinize that down to the JV team, I scrutinize that down to the freshman team, I'll scrutinize that down to junior high. And so if you have thoughts that it's something else, please hit me up, because then I'll happily break down to you exactly why it's only finding success with the sport. The time to develop, though, is not during the high school season. It's club. You got 9 months of club to get better. We have to make decisions based on what helps us win these games today. That's how I always decide. But you'll enjoy that, because then after a while, no one will question that it isn't only about finding success. Does that make sense? Any other questions?
Can I add something to that?
Yeah.
And it's not set in stone. It's fluid.
It's fluid.
We had a kid, junior, that had JV time because she wasn't getting varsity time, and we just couldn't find a way. But by districts, she was taking back her reps from one of our starters.
That was
Eden. That was Tiff's.
That was Tiff's niece.
She worked her butt off, and she came to us and said, "What do I need to do?" Erin told her what she needed to do, and she did it. So it's not set in stone.
Yeah, she started last varsity season, on JV, and at state she was starting DS. And so it's not set in stone. If we see something, if we see an opportunity, if something's not working, if we see that potential, it's always fluid. Has to be. Yeah.
Weights are Monday, Wednesday, Thursday at 12:30.
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday at 12:30 is weights. Is that on the Rigby Athletics?
Sports performance.
Okay. So we'll get that added to that as well. That's a good question. When does that start?
I think it just starts the first week of summer.
I think it's first week of June. Oh, and anybody watching or here so we're trying to get the junior high coaching spots figured out. We're saying yes to every coach at this point because there's so much experience. And so my goal is to meet those coaches coming back. Varsity we have pretty much figured out. So those of you that know Liz Shepard, she's going to be helping. Her and Bailey are going to be assisting me with varsity. Kaylin, where's she go? Oh, there you are. And I've heard, raise your hand if you love this young lady. I know everyone loves her, and so she was thinking about betraying us and going to Madison. They were smart. When I came in, I didn't know her. I never met her, and so they were like begging her to go to Madison. And I have to pay her $10,000 this year. It's the whole coaching budget. But she agreed to take Monopoly money for most of it. And so we literally begged her to come back. I am not. I was like, we need you, we want you to come back. What would it need to look like? And so, because winning coaching teams are as important as winning, it's all integrated. And so she's gonna be helping with JV, helping with varsity, and we're so excited that she agreed to be here because everybody loves her. True or false?
True.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. You guys are so lucky. It's gonna be so much fun. Just being in the gym with the setters, I can't wait to get everybody else in there.
I'm very nerdy. True or false? True. Very nerdy. Very
So
really
true.
am very nerdy. What's that? Yeah, no, that's why I'm so excited because I feel like this program has the talent, and you guys were right there last year. And so I'm just gonna sharpen the knife, right? You guys already have the knife. I'm just sharpening it. Sharpening the axe. Is that what I'm doing? Okay. Is it axe? Sharpening the axe. Yeah. I'm just putting a point on it, and so because you guys are ready for a college offense, and that's what we're gonna run. And we're gonna run a college offense, a college defense, and it will. Skyview is going down. It's gonna be really ugly. We're gonna murder them. I'm very, very competitive. And my haters are people that have always been on the other side of this. You will hate me when you compete against me, but you love me on your team. And so Madison will hate us, and Thunder already does, and they'll hate us. But one thing we did at last year, we're always very, very classy and very, very gracious and very, very kind. We always shake hands. We don't over-celebrate. We don't do selfies on your logo. Blackfoot did that to us at IF this year. We had one loss this year, and then we shook hands with them, and then they all did like selfies on the IF logo. And I called the coach after. I'm like, I thought we were friends. Like, that was so rude. They put it on. I was so irritated because I thought we were friends, but because I think there's a way that you win, and it's with high character and it's with class. And why would you taunt when you won anyway? Because the win was the taunt. You don't need to spike the football, so to speak, right? And so, yeah, we're excited about. Any other questions? Yeah.
Open gym, does that start at the beginning of summer as well?
Yeah, so we had 15 hours that we could work with the kids in May, and so I've been only working with, my goal is to only work with setters in May, just because it's such an important starting point, and I wanted to get them teed up. It's tough to work with setters and hitters at the same time. So this week and next week, and I believe it's the week after takes us to the end of May, or is it just next week takes next week? So then so this week and next week are setters, and then starting in June, it's all kids, all incoming 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th.
And the setters is just the kids that are going into 10 or 12, is that correct?
No, if there's some 9th that want to come too, that's cool. This week and next week, some incoming 9th setters.
So, like 8th graders right now, going in tonight?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, come. Yep. Tomorrow, Thursday, and then next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 to 6.
But double check times every week.
Yeah, on Rigby Athletics.
And that's going to be on band, or is that going to be on?
I know.
On the Rigby Athletics.
I actually had it wrong.
And then once we get on band.
I was thinking it was 5 to 7, but it's 4 to
Yeah,
6.
because you said it's
Did I? Oh. Yeah,
like
see.
last
You're doing it.
Spotify.
Yeah, that's why we did it 5 to 7, because it was in my house. Okay. So it's 4 to 6 this week. Tomorrow's 4 to 6. Yeah.
You don't want tryouts will be just like.
Tryouts will be that that day right after the dead period. Yeah, that right after the dead period. So the dead period ends.
August 11th and 12th. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do 2 days of tryouts.
Make sure I'm in town. Yeah.
But ideally, because we see you at open gyms, tryouts are for other sport athletes that didn't have time to make open gyms, kids transferring in. We really try to make it painless and not some big thing. Yeah, I don't like it to be a thing. And one thing we do is we do teams face-to-face also. So we'll tell you face-to-face if we cut you why and what the reason is. Because I hate somebody walking down the gym without, I just think it's classless to do that way. Yeah. So we haven't finalized the freshman coach. We have a transfer. Her husband, last name is Stewart. He's from the area. They've been in Box Elder County. She's been a 6-year varsity coach for girls, and then she's done boys for 4 years, I believe. And so I had a phone interview with her. She wanted to get a position at the school, and so she's our top candidate, but we haven't quite finalized that with her. So once we get that finalized, then we'll introduce her. But I'm super impressed with her experience. I'm like staggered by the amount of interest. Like former college players that want to help with junior high. I'm telling you guys, it's dynasty formula here. I've felt it. Lone Peak has had a volleyball dynasty in Utah, and I was there with that first state championship in 2004. And it's like every year they're competing because of this. And so that's what's so exciting about what we have here. Yeah.
And homecoming is October 3rd, and we don't have games.
Yeah, I love the tournament. So we have an August tournament, Peg Peterson, which that was a cool one last year that we all did. And then we have the Thunderbeat in September. And then in October, we're going down to that Utah tournament.
Oh, the same one they did last year.
Yes. And why I love it, it's 2 weeks before districts. So we're going to trim all the fat off our offense. We'll have by rotation, our side out plays, we'll have our free ball plays. So we're going to go down to that tournament in Utah with our lineup, our offense locked, and we're gonna stress test it at that tournament because we're playing some of the best teams in the country there. And so I'm super excited. It'll be like 2 weeks before state. We're gonna just get everything locked in, finalized. I love that we're doing, because I hate when all your tournaments are jammed in like 3 in September. You just get burned out. So I'm excited about that as well. Any other questions? Yeah? Yeah, Tiff hasn't transferred it over to me. So I'm hoping to get that today. I have a key today. Oh yeah, seniors, you get to pick the jerseys.
Yeah, come talk to me tonight.
Yeah, because we want to get those ordered, but we're getting Nike sleeveless with the sleeves. And I think, what's that? That's what they wanted? Good, yeah. I love that. I don't make, yeah, anything good you like, we keep doing. And then very nerdy volleyball. That's what you can expect. Any other questions? Okay, thank you for taking the time. We made it in under an hour. Good. I don't do PowerPoint. Sorry. Tim was telling me she did these long PowerPoints for these parent meetings. I was like, I've been teasing her about it. So, also, those of you if you go to Alpine Capital Solutions on YouTube, you can get this recording. It was also linked on Facebook on the Rigby Athletics page, this link. So if you want this recording, feel free to share it to somebody who couldn't make it. My cell phone's on there. Text me if you have a question that you don't want to ask in front of the group. I really don't have a narrative. I'm very transparent, and I'm very comfortable with any questions or any feedback that you want to give me. Okay? And so I want you to know I'm very approachable, and I can handle it even if it's a tough conversation. Just hit me up. Okay? That's part of leadership, that's part of winning programs. So thank you for coming. It's good to meet you guys. I appreciate it.